Folks, welcome back to Nostalgianomics. The news of the week is Probstein Auctions, after leaving eBay, started their beta-tested site called Snipe, and it is now down in the middle of many live auctions going on. We're not only going to talk about that and rumors as to why it has happened, but we're going to talk about the ramifications of what is happening to the TCG and other collectible spaces because of that. And I don't think a lot of people truly understand how big of a deal that is. Some people say, well, Alex, I don't use Probstein. I don't buy on Probstein. This doesn't affect me. Oh, you better believe it affects you, and I'm going to explain to you how it affects you. So first and foremost, if you guys don't understand who Probstein is, they were a very large eBay consignment service. They did over 5.9 million items sold. They did over $930 million in sales while they were there, with $160 million being their peak year of sales. They moved a lot of freaking collectibles. What that means? Liquidity. All right. Now, their new site Snipe was in beta testing and it went down. They're citing a system-wide technical issue due to high volume. And so, a lot of people are taking that at face value. They didn't have the infrastructure in place to meet what eBay had in place to handle all the different auctions and all the different bids coming in at the last minutes and last seconds. And so that could very well be the main reason they went down. There are rumors arising. Again, none of these are substantiated claims. This is not facts. This is all rumors. People are saying in the back-end code there were customer sensitive information being leaked, things like names, addresses, etc. Other people are saying there was a big issue with shill bidding happening. Again, I'm going to take them at their word. It was high volume. They weren't expecting, everything to be as high volume as it was. And they didn't have the infrastructure in place that eBay had. And so it went down. Who knows? But that is what we're told. Now, again, none of this is really that relevant. And I'm going to explain to you what I mean. The ramifications of Probstein and Snipe being down means there is no longer instant liquidity in a low fee way to get rid of your sealed items. And so we're seeing a glut of sealed items on the market, which is another reason prices are being affected and supply is going up. So let me explain to you how this normally worked, especially for me and pretty much every other large business and large seller out there that most of you probably know, okay? So people would reach out with a collection and they want to get rid of everything at once. And so they're willing to take a lower percentage on their collection because they just want to get rid of it, okay? People like me will make offers. Some will accept the offer. We buy the collection, okay? I get a collection in. I am not rich and wealthy beyond your wildest dreams. I can't keep everything I buy. So what do? Well, I use whatever I can, break down things for streams. I get packs for streams. I put some away in long-term holdings and investment that I believe in and that I want. For everything that's left, I need to move it. I need to churn and burn it so I can get my capital back to buy out more collections and continue to run the business. What would I do with a lot of those things? I'd send them to Probstein. I would get instant liquidity in a week of an auction, right? They would pay me out. It was lower fees than I could get myself on eBay or TCG Player. I'm not big enough to have a negotiated contract with eBay and pay less than 5% fees. Very few do. I think you have to probably be in a 10 or a 8-figure seller over $10 million at this point to get a fee structure with eBay that low. Again, no one knows. All the contracts are private, but I would use Probstein for a lot of my items, as would a lot of people that I know in the hobby use Probstein to liquidate a lot of things they had as well in order to buy more. Now that Probstein's down, look, DC Sports Cards, another big consignment service, they do take sealed items. Their fees are higher. They have a more limited range of what they take. Probstein will pretty much take everything. You could send them 500 loose packs of a set. They're going to sell that. You could send them mixed lots of sealed product. They're going to sell that. They pretty much would sell almost anything sealed. And so that is really constricting the market right now. And so people are having trouble moving items quickly, and that's why people are price competing and things like that. And so what does this mean going forward? Well, for myself, I'm having to switch gears. And as you guys know, I'll go ahead and shout it out. You guys know I have my own site, right? Nostalgianomics.com. So Nostalgianomics.com was basically used for my live pack breaks on my channel. A lot of you guys know I stream Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Central Time, where we rip packs, have a lot of fun. It's a great time, right? And then obviously a lot of you guys know I have merch that I sell. I haven't made new merch in a while. I need to make some new merch, right? Who's gonna carry the bulk merch coming soon? But I have a merch section. I have a recommended product section where it links to a bunch of different things that I use or recommend using for anything with collecting or shipping or anything like that or storing. But I have this sealed product section that has just been unused because, again, it just hasn't been the way I operated. Now that Snipe is down and Probstein's down, there's not an easy way to move product, and I still want to keep buying collections and running the business. I just want to let everyone know there are going to be items listed here. I am going to start using my site. I will let everyone know when items are listed. They will be good deals. I will make sure they're very competitive pricing. But for anyone that is interested in buying, at or under market and wants to know they're coming from a legitimate source, they're going to come well protected. They're going to get shipped out, all that good stuff. I am going to start having sealed product listed so that I can continue to myself provide liquidity for those of you that do want to sell when you want to sell, and then I can continue to churn and burn, and then the whole kind of ecosystem continues to work. Because like I said, contrary to what some people think, like I don't have unlimited money, right? I can't continue to take in collections and keep it all, right? No, I'm not saying I'm selling off my long-term investments that I believe in, but anything that I take in that I'm not holding long-term that I can't use for streams, I'm going to start listing on my site. And hopefully, that's another way to move product while this whole situation gets worked out. Other people in the hobby, those with followings, I'm sure they'll probably do the same. I know PokeNE's been selling on his own site for years, but maybe some others will use other consignment services. I know a lot of people do move product other ways these days. Facebook groups, Discord groups, Instagram, even Reddit. But you're just going to get more creative. You're going to have to get more creative on how you move your product and probably have to market harder. Probably have to get your advertising hat on and start, running some ads, doing some advertising and start bringing more eyes because eBay is no longer bringing all the eyes to their site. And then Probstein is no longer bringing all the eyes of eBay to their auctions, which would made it extremely easy. Their auctions always ended top tier. They always went for top dollar. They had all the eyes of eBay on them. And they very rarely did items go unpaid. So you basically had instant liquidity in the course of a couple of weeks when you sent them your items, and everything continued to churn and burn and flow. And so I think the ramifications of them being down and items not being able to be moved as quick as they once were is a much bigger deal than people are really making out it to be. A lot of people are saying things like, well, I don't really care, Alex. I'm not selling right now, or I don't use Probstein. I don't buy from Probstein. I don't care about Probstein. You don't have to care about them. You just have to respect the fact they moved $160 million in a year. They moved almost $1 billion in collectibles over the course of eBay, and that seller is no longer there. So at very least, guys, it's something to consider. It's something to think about, especially if you are, active in the hobby, if you are buying and selling. And so hopefully this video helped bring some of those things to light. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, subscribe to the channel if you're not yet. And like I said, not today, but coming, nostalgianomics.com. We'll be selling stuff. So keep you guys posted. Appreciate all the support as always. We are out.